Hi, thanks for watching The Freedom Habit. My name is Boyd. Before I started making videos about law of attraction, before I even discovered the law of attraction, I was all wrapped up in politics. And this happened back in 2020 when you remember the big medical crisis that happened all across the world. And I, uh, I had my doubts about a lot of things back then. So I would get on Facebook and complain about the governments and all the politicians and all that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that happened because it was my awakening. It certainly opened my eyes to a lot of things. I wonder if I would have even found out about the law of assumption, the law of attraction, if I hadn't become interested in that during that time of all the things that were going on. I'm trying to be careful here of how I say it because I'm not sure if they still frown upon discussing that matter. But yeah, so I woke up during that time, and at 61 years old, I started listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza and different people online, talking about how people could heal themselves and how people can change their financial situations and find relationships and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I had already been a Christian for most of my life, so I believed in a creator and I felt like I had a relationship. I used to pray and stuff like that, and I still pray to some degree, but I more meditate now. I feel I could meditate for hours where it was hard for me to pray for 3 minutes, quite frankly. But yeah, I could meditate for over an hour, and I really feel connection with Source when I do that. So yeah, it's really important that we're aware of our triggers and our emotions and our thoughts, and to stay connected with Source. Because man, when I was just raging about and reacting to everything going on in the world. I was just so angry and upset and fearful. And once I became aware of the law of attraction, law of assumption, it really helped, and everything started kind of calming down too. I really realized, wow, I really kind of lost myself there. I lost my perspective, and I was trusting in man and instead of God and creator or source or Christ consciousness. Call it what you want. And so it's really important that we stay focused and aware. And I know that. Now I'm aware of that. You know, and that's the thing. When we just see our thoughts come up and realize that they're just random thoughts. They could be coming from the collective consciousness of where you're at. They could be coming from something that happened to you years ago. So just because you have a negative thought or emotion pop up it doesn't have to take over your life or your day or even the next 15 minutes. Let it come up, recognize it for what it is, and make peace with it. You know, breathe into it even, like if it's a source of tension somewhere in your body, breathe into it, recognize it, make and just be okay with it. Like, don't judge it, don't put a label on it like this is bad, this is worrisome, this is anger. Don't even just feel the sensation and release it. Become the observer. That's the thing. And as we observe these things just coming up in our awareness, in our consciousness, then we don't feel like they're part of us, and then they don't affect us so much, and it's easier to release it. It's just easier to let it go. You know, whatever story you're telling yourself about your life and the things that have happened to you, and I'm not saying none of it's true, because I have my own stories I could look back on and go like, wow, that was messed up. Wow, they shouldn't have done that. There's a bunch of them, but I really don't hold on to those anymore. And if you want to move on in life, you got to release that. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive others, and just live in the present, live in the moment. And as those emotions come up, release them. And and I always say it this way too, and then gently choose to set your attention somewhere else, on something that feels better, on something that makes you feel joy or at least peace, you know, some kind of reconciliation with the emotions or the thoughts that you're having, so that you're not trying to run from them or fear them or anything like that, because we all have unwanted emotions and thoughts that pop up. Sometimes we might make it through a day or so without anything like that, but usually at some point in the day, someone's going to do something, someone's going to say something, or just out of nowhere, something's going to come up. And that's when we have a choice. We can either run with that and be triggered by it, that thought, emotion, situation, whatever it is. Or we can calmly trust in source, trust in our ability to tap into source, and know that there's always a solution. There's always a peaceful way for it to work out without it harming us. Whether it's physical, financial, relationship wise, whatever. It can always work out for the good. And when we believe that everything's happening for our good and for our growth and for our benefit, then life just becomes a lot more peaceful. We're not struggling against it so much. And meditation's a big part of my life. I already talked about it, but it actually reduces the default mode network. And the default mode network is the part of our brain that makes us live in survival mode. It's the part of our brain that catastrophizes about everything. And it thinks of the worst case scenario. Oh my God, that's going to happen. What if this happens? This happens, so this probably is going to make this occur. And it just takes us down this path of fear and angst and worry and anxiety and depression. It leads nowhere good. But we all have this in our brain, the default mode network. It's a real thing. But meditation and just relaxing your vagus nerve, even if you want to do deep breathing, something to relax your vagus nerve, to relax your nervous system. And it stops the default mode network from putting us into fear mode, in survival mode. And I think that's a really important thing to be aware of. I just wanted to bring that up today. I hope that helped you. I hope that gave you some insight on that. And thank you guys for watching. Hey, if this helps you, please subscribe. Appreciate you.